Welcome into the Immigrant Podcast. I'm your boy Nikolai Hill. Program is brought to you by Nothing But Net International. Appreciate you taking the time out to be with me here today. You know what that means, man. So we just got out of the NFL draft, and it was an interesting 3 days, 4 days, and a few days starting before the NFL draft itself, and since the draft ended yesterday morning. Of course, the big news in the draft, and of course why I flashed the watch first, is that's the ultimate sign of the man himself, Sheduer Sanders. And this is what this podcast, this episode is going to be about today. Going from potentially a first round pick to being drafted in the 5th round is something that we don't really see very often in the National Football League. I'm kind of close to the situation because one of my favorite people, my best friends for over 30 years, was in a similar situation. The outcome is that, he still got drafted and he's still got an opportunity to play in the National Football League. And that's ultimately what happens to everybody that's either drafted or signed, do a free agency in this period. Like the truth is, everybody gets a chance to step on that field during a regular season game or a preseason game, and they do that because everybody has to get an opportunity to show what they can do in a live contact, live game, in a live situation. And that's why he got his opportunity, and that's how a lot of the players that are on the fringes of the NFL that have been drafted after the 3rd round have come to make themselves known, i.e. James Harrison. We've got other names out there that we can say about this as well. Of course, the main one's Tom Brady, who was drafted in the 6th round, who, of course, went on to become the greatest quarterback of all time. Sheduer Sanders was drafted in the 5th round. A lot of people said that the Giants, with the 3rd pick in the NFL draft, was the potential landing spot for Sheduer Sanders prior to draft day. That didn't materialize. Other pundits said that the Browns were in the running for a quarterback and they were going to draft him, possibly moving up on the first day. And if not on the first day, it would get him on the 2nd day, early morning, in the 2nd round or 3rd round, with one of those draft picks that they had there. The Raiders were a possibility as well with the 6th overall pick. They ended up going with a stud running back, Ashton Jeanty, and that's warranted. He's a game changer. But however, we thought later on in the 2nd round, later on in the 1st round, maybe later or early in the 2nd round, that the Raiders would come up and maybe take a look at Sheduer Sanders. We've been talking about it in small circles, but there is obviously nothing that you can say about the situation, apart from the fact that NFL owners, the NFL front office executives, coaches, and some players in the NFL took a slight disliking to how Deion Sanders and the Sanders boys went about their business during the draft process. Personally, when I saw the day that they were doing the combine and the things that Sheduer was doing or not doing, I thought there was an opportunity that, things could happen like this. But I never foresaw him falling to the 5th round. It's just a sign of the times. Of course, there's some athletes and some parents and some people that can get away with being a certain way. And there's some guys that just can't. And when you're the son of Deion Sanders, who's always been a braggadocious, show you everything he's got and you deal with it kind of guy, then you're going to come under some scrutiny. And the scrutiny in this time and in this case far exceeded that just of a small punishment. Not being drafted in the 1st round means tens of millions of dollars. Not being drafted in the 2nd round takes away guarantees that you'll be given an ultimate opportunity. Not being drafted in the 3rd round takes away a lot of guaranteed money that you would be getting. But being drafted in the 5th round still gives you an opportunity to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. And I think this is one thing that I would like to educate my listeners about today. Being a quarterback, it doesn't matter what you're drafted. Dylan Gabriel was drafted before him in the third round. He's going to get an opportunity to play for the Browns, and so will Sheduer Sanders. The reason why I can confidently say this is because the Browns are not a good football team. They got good players, Myles Garrett. They got good players on defense. They got a good coaching staff. Their executive room is going in the right direction. But there's no quarterback on that roster. So I could see all 5 quarterbacks that are on the roster post the 2025 NFL draft actually getting a start during the 2025 football season. That includes Kenny Pickett as well. So the episode about Sheduer Sanders, man, I wanted to wait until all the smoke cleared before I address the situation. And I wanted to take my time to bring up the points that I wanted to make sure that my listeners thought about here today before we got out of here on this podcast. It's your boy Nikolai Hill for the Immigrant Podcast. Take it easy.